Welcome to my kitchen. Now this is my kitchen in real life. It's not a set. It's not in a studio or anything. So you might hear some tinkling, and that's my dog Chutney. And he likes to hang around the kitchen because, you know, stuff drops on the floor. So you just want to be careful with dogs. Onions and grapes and raisins, those are a big no-no for them. So we're going to be doing a recipe from your packet, and today we're doing some enchilada verde, a stacked enchilada verde dish. So I love enchiladas. I've been making enchiladas for years. I think I make the best enchiladas. They're phenomenal. So, but today we're going to be taking a couple shortcuts because I want to get you in and out of the kitchen as soon as possible. So, with your packet this week, part of your instructions were to pre-cook a pork roast. So we have our pork roast that I made yesterday. Isn't this lovely? And so I have the pork roast that we made yesterday, and you can do it in your Instapot. I know a lot of you have Instapots. I know people are in love with Instapots, but I just couldn't justify buying an Instapot because I have been using my handy dandy pressure cooker for I've been using my pressure cooker probably since millennia. Okay, how's that? So the pressure cooker is super easy to use. People say to me all the time, is it safe? Yes, it's safe. The modern pressure cookers have a lot of safety features, which you cannot open them when the pressure is up. So this is the lid, and the lid goes on. There's a little line right here where you line it up, and then it just slides over. And then there's high and low. I usually turn it on high, and then you have to slide this little guy up. And then when the pressure comes up, this little yellow dot right here will pop up, and it'll start hissing. It'll start doing that. And that's time for a dance break in the kitchen, right? So that's the pressure cooker. And again, you can use your Instant Pot, or you could use a slow cooker if you have more time. So we have our pork that I pulled last night, and the pork in the pressure cooker, I put some lemon zest, some orange zest, a little garlic, and the juices from the lemon and the orange, and cooked it for a little over an hour. It smells phenomenal. Your kitchen is going to smell. And then when you open it up, you know, there's those little crusty bits that you kind of snack on a little bit. So I'm going to show you a little bit of a skill here. As a chef, I use zest all the time because it has tons and tons of flavor. The zest of any citrus fruit is where all the essential oils are. So it's going to smell wonderful. It's going to give you some of that nice flavor. And I'm just going to show you how to zest. I bought my microplane at any kitchen store. They cost like $10-15. They're not expensive. You can use them for chocolate. You can use them for, if you want finely grated chocolate. You can use them for cheese, like if you want a really finely grated Parmesan cheese. So we're just going to do a little lime zest right here. And it smells, the perfume is gorgeous. It's like, so I wish you could smell it. It smells really good. But anyways, that's your lime zest. Another handy dandy tool I use all the time in the kitchen is just a little pastry. It's a pastry cutter, but it's great for like scooping up things that have dropped on the counter. So we have I'm using a 9x13 commercial pan today. You can use any 9x13 dish that you want. I'm just using a little bit of olive oil, and I always use my hands. You don't have to. I like to get my hands in there and get around, then I can feel and make sure it's gotten everywhere I want it to go. We're going to set that aside for a moment and go back to our pork. And today, all of the recipes that I'm going to be doing for the whole membership are all gluten-free. The recipes I'm going to be showing you are dairy-free as well. However, if you eat cheese, you can tolerate cheese, which is amazing. You can put cheese in between all the layers here, and it will just make it even more delicious because cheese is delicious. I love cheese, but it doesn't love me back. So I usually make my own sauces. I usually do like 3 or 4 different kinds of enchilada sauce. I do a gravy, I do a dried chili sauce, and I do a salsa verde. But today I'm showing you tips and tricks and shortcuts. So we're going to be using a salsa verde, and I'm going to show you my secret for opening jars because because you know sometimes they're hard to open and you don't always have a guy around in the kitchen to open the jar for you. So we're going to take a cup of the salsa verde, and that's going to go right in our pan. We're going to smear that around a little bit so it gets all over. I am using the Siete cassava and chia tortillas today. They are they're not only gluten-free, but they're grain-free. The only thing that I do not like about them is they're super freaking expensive. Jeez Louise. It's like, man. I did get them on sale yesterday. So thank God for sales, right? So we're just going to be putting we're just making a layer. Now, I have been making enchiladas for years, and I used to like roll them all out individually, and it just is majorly time consuming. And I started doing this a couple years ago, and then I talked to a friend of mine who does a lot of Mexican cooking, and she said, girl, all the Mexican people do it like this. So I don't know if they all do, but it's super easy. And again, we want to get you in and out of the kitchen fast. So we're taking our pork and we're spreading it all over. Now, I always like to add more vegetables. I always think more vegetables is better. So we're going to be using broccoli in our next recipe. So I'm just going to show you another trick that I do all the time. How many of you guys throw this away? This is the broccoli stem. I know a lot of you throw it away. I never do because all of the ends and pieces of stuff I give to my dogs. So a key word in my kitchen is uh-oh. Here he comes. So he loves broccoli, cooked, raw. So the only thing about the broccoli stem, that skin on the outside is kind of tough. So I always cut the skin off. And again, all of these pieces here go into dog food. And I make my own dog food, but if you guys are interested at some point in seeing a video on making dog food, I'd be more than happy to share how I make my dog food. I do most of it raw, and I try to do it in as you-less as possible. I did a service for a while, for just I think one time, where I got raw food from a company, and it was so gross. It was like working with liver. I don't like liver. You know, I know that you're like organ meats are good for you and such, but I just don't like liver. I never liked liver. My mom used to make liver when I was a kid, and just the smell of it makes me gag. And I know I'm a chef, and I shouldn't have feelings like that, but I do. I remember when my mom used to make this. She used to have, remember those electric skillets? Maybe some of you don't even know. But she used to have an electric skillet going, and she'd have kidneys. She'd get a whole bunch of chicken kidneys and cook those for the dogs. And it just made the whole house stink. It's really gross. But so anyways, I don't have fond memories of liver. Although I do like Braunschweiger. Isn't that weird? I do. That's really good on crackers or liver pate. I've made some really good liver pate. Okay, so, and again, all of this stuff can go for the dog. We're just going to put that in a little bowl right over there. So we have all of these. We're just going to chop, 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 chop. And I will have some separate videos on knife skills and all kinds of stuff coming up. So stay tuned. because knife skills are really important. I like to get children in the kitchen. I like to get knives in their hands and get them cooking as young as possible. But, you know, you have to be safe. You can't just put a knife in a child's hand, and you have to really kind of stand over them and do it with them. So, but, you know, it's like part of what is happening today is people don't cook anymore, or they don't cook like we used to. And children are growing up without having any kind of cooking skills, which to me is a no pass. It just doesn't work for me. It's like we all need to learn how to feed ourselves, because the thing is, here's the deal, is like food companies, their bottom line is making money. And they don't really care about your health. And there's a lot of ingredients that are in any kind of processed food. I don't care if it's from your deli or wherever it's from that you know, I don't eat, like canola oil. Canola oil is genetically modified. It's high in omega-6s. We already eat way too much omega-6. Okay, so now we use the broccoli. And if you have small children, they're not going to know what's in there. So here we go. We're going to put a little bit more of our sauce on top of this. And then we're going to do another layer of tortillas. I apologize to people who are authentically Latin, because I'm not making fun. I sometimes when I'm at home alone and I just want something quick and easy for myself, I will take those siete tortillas and I will just put them over. I'll take a tongs and hold them with the tongs and put them over the flame of the gas, and just warm them up, and then they get soft and pliable instead of hard like that was. And now we're going to follow up with just one more layer of sauce. And then again, if you eat cheese, go ahead, load the cheese on. Any kind of cheese would be good on here. The Mexican cheese would be awesome. Sharp cheddar. I always recommend sharp cheddar to people. It has so much more flavor than mild cheddar. Colby would be good on here. Kojak or Jack cheese. So there, these are ready to go in the oven. So I just took the enchiladas out of the oven, and aren't they? They actually look better when you use real cheese on it. And another thing that I like to serve with enchiladas is cashew cream. And I'll show you how to do that in another video, because cashew cream is a game changer when it comes to doing dairy-free cooking, because it's a stand-in for any kind of sour cream, or it's just delicious. So what I would do is I would put it in a little squeeze bottle and I'd squirt it on top. But we're just gonna cut some of these enchiladas. And I love serving enchiladas with a little bit of slaw. Thank you very much. Why did I say that?